House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer and Senator Chuck Grassley are standing their ground on an FBI records request. They want to see a document which allegedly contains information about bribes President Biden took while he was vice president. In a new 6-page letter, the FBI, as you see here, rejected Congressman Comer's subpoena. The department bringing up various reasons for this stonewalling. Let's get out to Kilmeny Ducart now with reaction coming in from Capitol Hill. Kilmeny, what can you tell us about possible next steps now to get this document?
Yeah, Bianca, John, good to be with you. I had messaged the Oversight Committee spokesperson yesterday to get a better sense of where things stood. That deadline expiring noon yesterday for the FBI to hand over those documents. They responded to me with a statement from Congressman James Comer as well as Republican Senator Chuck Grassley saying that the FBI's response to them confirms that that document is real. And they wanted to know also what the agency had done to investigate this. They said that the FBI failed to answer both of those questions. So they said that they plan to follow up again with the FBI. In the meantime, another story that we're covering right now, House Judiciary Committee Republicans releasing an interim report that focuses on a letter that was signed by 51 former intelligence officials that dismissed Hunter Biden's laptop, that story, as Russian disinformation. This, of course, was something that they had focused on as part of their congressional investigation, and it was a letter that was made public prior to the 2020 election. I spoke with Congressman Darrell Issa, who's a member on that committee, who said that they wanted to answer one key question, and that was, why did some of the most powerful government officials dismiss the laptop story as Russian disinformation when that was completely false? He said that the answer is simple, because they wanted to get President Biden elected. Now, they say that the evidence is this email written by former acting CIA Director Michael Morell to former CIA Chief John Brennan, asking him to sign that October 2020 letter. Morell writes, trying to give the campaign, particularly during the debate on Thursday, a talking point to push back on Trump on the issue. Brennan responds, okay, Michael, good initiative. Thanks for asking me to sign on.
We learned that, in fact, they did it because they wanted the president to win. And in many cases, they used the power of the government itself. While they were supposed to be working for the president, they were actually working to replace the president. That's closer to a coup than it is to a letter.
Yeah, the report says Morell sent the CIA the final version for review, labeling it as a rush job to get immediate approval. It also says the former director of national intelligence suggested strengthening the wording in the letter to say it has all the classic earmarks of a Soviet-Russian information operation rather than the feel of a Russian operation. Republicans say that the bottom line is current government officials, namely those working within the CIA who are supposed to be serving the president of the United States, were actively working to influence a presidential campaign. Bianca, John.
Pretty incredible stuff. Kilmeny Ducart live on Capitol Hill. Thanks, Kilmeny.
All right, ladies, let's welcome in now Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She is a member of the House Oversight Committee. You saw her at that news conference yesterday. Congresswoman, great to have you back with us.
Thank you for having me this afternoon.
All right, let's start with this letter from the FBI to James Comer. Here is part of it. I'm quoting it. The integrity of our work often requires us to preserve a separation between legislative investigations and law enforcement investigations. You know, read between the lines here for us, Congressman. It sounds like this kind of corroborates what we've heard from some of these whistleblowers, that the DOJ, the FBI, they are stonewalling members of Congress as they try to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, potentially. And what we have seen over the last couple of months is Biden family members with this shell game of communist China money going into their bank accounts. And it certainly feels like, after ignoring the letter yesterday from Grassley and Comer, that they're now playing, government officials at the FBI playing a shell game with documents that will be the smoking gun in this investigation.
Let's also talk about some of the concerns yesterday you guys expressed. Here is Oversight Chairman James Comer.
To my Democrat colleagues, I want to say this investigation will continue to move forward. Do you want to continue covering up the Biden's influence peddling schemes when the evidence is being placed right in front of you?
Now, extensive evidence in granular detail yesterday against the Biden family. We got to think, President Trump was impeached over one phone call. At what point does this move past the unethical phase to the illegal phase? We heard the chairman there very careful about not using illegal, talking about unethical in this situation. At some point, is the House going to be forced to impeach President Biden over this stuff?
Well, at some point, I believe the Oversight Committee will refer charges to the Department of Justice, which would be the right next step if the evidence proves that out. It should be deeply concerning to any American in this country, regardless of your political affiliation, when you look at the dozens and dozens of shell companies, the tens of millions of dollars that was moved around. We're talking about, the left wants to say that no one is above the law. Well, put your money where your mouth is. This is literally the Biden family tree receiving millions of dollars from communist China through these shell companies, including one of the president's grandchildren, nieces and nephews, a brother, a son, current wives, former wives, ex-wives. And it's unbelievable that no charges have been pressed in the last 7 or 8 years in regards to this. And so we've got to do our investigation to show the American people. And, mainstream media wants to say, well, where's the evidence? We literally showed you just the tip of the iceberg bank records yesterday. And this is just the start.
Yeah, they don't want to cover this at all. And just for comparison, I want to show everyone some live pictures right now. I think we have. There's been a live media. This is George Santos's office. Some of the members of the press are gone. They're on lunch break, but they've been staking out his office all morning long. This is one member of the House of Representatives. There's almost zero coverage of everything you guys presented yesterday about Hunter Biden and the Biden family. Why do we continue to see this disparity of media coverage on these stories?
And that one member is being investigated, is being indicted and charged with a crime. And the law is being followed in that case. But the law should apply to Republicans and Democrats alike. And if it's good enough to investigate a former president, then we should also be good enough to investigate a current president and his family if they've been corrupted by our adversaries around the world. Yet you just saw that. That's what they're doing. It's crazy to me. You treat everybody the same.
That's what they care about, yeah. The other thing, too, that's interesting about is the timing of this. Hunter Biden's been under investigation for years. George Santos has been around for like 4 months, and all this seems to be the top priority for the FBI, getting George Santos on these charges.
By the way, announced the night before our press conference yesterday, too. I mean,
They say there are no coincidences in this world, Congressman Mace. So, can fill in the blanks on that one. Great to see you as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much.